horror movie tier list. Let's do it. This is a bit weird, but it's mainly Evil Dead, Friday the 13th, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, and then also Freddy vs. Jason. I didn't make this list, but to me it seems kind of definitive as like a horror franchise sort of way to go about it. I don't know. It's weird. I didn't make this, but we're going to do it anyways. We're going to start with Nightmare on Elm Street because they're the most fresh in my mind compared to the rest. I just rewatched all these. We're going to put the first Nightmare on Elm Street in best. It's a horror classic. I love Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. I think the cast here is all really great. Johnny Depp is a little underwhelming, but he's not exactly an established star just yet. I believe it's his first movie that he was ever in. I think the kills are really fun. I love when Johnny Depp gets sucked through his bed and then blood starts shooting out, or the one where Nancy's friend is up on the side of the wall in that bedroom and she's getting dragged all over the place. That's gory, that's bloody, I love it. Yeah, pretty solid. The only minor gripe that I have is I think that the third act is pretty lame. Once Johnny Depp dies, it just kind of becomes Home Alone nonsense. And even then, it has one of the worst endings to any horror movie ever, where Nancy's mom gets pulled through the door and it looks terrible. It should have just ended with them driving away and kind of keep it in this ominous tone where the mom is smiling and waving as they drive away. I think that would have been pretty effective. Instead, they had to ruin it with some weird sequel bait. Speaking of sequel bait, we've got Nightmare on Elm Street 2. This one is known as the gayest movie of all time. Well, not movie, but Nightmare on Elm Street movie. And this is because there are a lot of like strong queer undertones with the protagonist of the film, Jesse. And yeah, it is what it is. I mean, outside of that context, which I will talk more about that in my video about the whole franchise. I don't know if that's going to be out yet or not, but it's fine. My problems with it have nothing to do with the gay stuff.
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
It actually has to do with the fact that the rules with Freddy Krueger are never properly utilized or explained. They're sort of ignored from the first film, where he just all of a sudden appears in the real world and starts killing people at a pool party, and it's very weird and fantastical, but it's also like he should be vulnerable. He shouldn't be like Dream World Freddy here in this world. It's very bizarre. The body horror elements are great, but there's just not enough kills, and the pacing is pretty rough. I wish that there was a higher body count here so we could just see more of Freddy and see more of his impact on the characters besides Jesse just going crazy in this movie. Nightmare on Elm Street 3 I'm going to throw in best tier or S tier, whatever you want to call it. This one's great. I almost want to I'm going to put it ahead of the first movie, actually. That's my hot take. I love Dream Warriors. I think the cast is fantastic. You get a really high body count here because there's just so many characters. And a lot of horror movies like to sort of put a bunch of characters in the movie so you can have that high kill count, but they never really develop them. This movie actually develops them. They're all very interesting on their own, and it upsets me that in the fourth movie they kill off the remaining cast. This is also where you get that nice balance of Freddy Krueger being way more like comedic and he's quippy. I like that. He's still scary. It's not like Freddy's Dead, where he's playing with a Nintendo Power Glove. Like, you're not getting that crazy just yet, but he's got like that nice sort of balance. And it ends with Dream Warriors by Dokken, which is a fantastic song. So I'm going to go best tier for that one. Now we've got Nightmare on Elm Street 4, which I'm going to put in bad but watchable. Again, I hate that they kill off most of the cast or recast them entirely. It's just pretty lame. A lot of the kills here are just weak, and it's a pretty boring movie for the most part. Nightmare on Elm Street 5. Because there's just some elements that I can't stand. We're still in that sort of goofy, like Freddy isn't necessarily a huge threat. There are some pretty cool sequences. In 4, by the way, I love his death scene, where it looks like just the pit of hell with all these like people like trying to crawl their way out. That's gruesome. I love that. But that's one of the few good elements of that movie. In 5, I love the backstory that they give Freddy. It is a bit odd, though, that they are like really abandoning the whole he was just a local creep who killed a bunch of kids, and then the parents took action against him, and now he's like a vengeful spirit. Like, that's cooler, but it's still pretty neat with the whole like his mom was a nun who was trapped in this room. It was, with a bunch of insane people. Like, that's pretty messed up and horrifying. But I don't know, the movie itself is just sort of whatever. Freddy's Dead, I'm also going to put in bad. It's pretty bad. I wouldn't say it's unwatchable. I wouldn't recommend it. You get some funny gags like Freddy pretending to be the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz, or the Power Glove. But beyond that, it's just goofy nonsense, and I'm not a fan. His death scene is really bad. The whole movie is like supposed to be shot in 3D, so you get a lot of dumb shit just like being thrown at the camera, and for the most part it looks awful. It's aged terribly, and Freddy's death is his face like coming towards the camera and like folding in on itself. It's awful. New Nightmare I'm gonna put in really good. It's kind of like Gremlins 2, where I'm shocked that they even let Wes Craven make this movie, because it's so meta, it's so weird, and it's so like sacrilegious to the prior movies, especially the first one. Like it just completely disregards everything. It's set in the real world, and it's really wild. Freddy's just a straight up demon here. I love it. It's so different from the rest. It breaks that template of what we know as Nightmare on Elm Street, and it does a pretty good job with it. And in unwatchable trash, we're putting the remake. It's clear that everyone involved could not care less about Nightmare on Elm Street or Freddy Krueger or any of that. They're in this for the paycheck. Allegedly, that's what Jackie Earle Haley said about being in this movie, from some behind-the-scenes things that I've heard. Yeah, not a fan. I don't like the movie. It is that really lame, like glossy, high-budget, like 2010s, like late 2000s horror aesthetic that I just hate. H2O and Resurrection in the Halloween franchise are the same way. I just can't stand those movies as well. For that very reason, they just don't feel scary to me because they're just so overproduced. By the way, let's just get into Halloween. We're going to just throw H2O and Resurrection there just to get that over with, because I can't stand those movies.
Fucker.
The first Halloween, hot take, I'm going to put in really good, because it's a really good movie. I wouldn't say it's the best. There are elements that are really solid, but it's very 1970s for better or for worse. There are a lot of dumb logical moments where, like, for example, you know, Laurie Strode throws the knife away. It's like, what are you doing? Don't throw that knife away. You're like, there's still a killer in the house. But there are still some very impactful moments. I love the ending where they just pan through the house and it's all empty rooms and you're like, oh my God, is Michael Myers there? It's just really solid, and I just think that it's a really good horror movie, not a masterpiece. Halloween 2, I'm gonna put in good. There are some dumb elements, like how Michael is killed in this movie. I think is pretty lame. The explosion's neat, but I don't know. I like that it's all kind of set in the hospital for large chunks of the movie. That's pretty cool. I'm glad they didn't just have a new final girl that wasn't Laurie Strode, and then Michael Myers is like just hunting them down, and it's just a remake of the first movie. Like, I like that they change it up. They change up the setting. That's pretty neat.
That's pretty neat.
Halloween 3, this is going to be a hot take. Very hot take. It's going in best here. I love this movie. This is the one that I put on every single Halloween on Halloween, because it just has such a perfect vibe for like that October 31st. Kids are out trick-or-treating. Except I guess now kids don't really trick-or-treat anymore. They all just go to parking lots, and it's really stupid. Millennials ruin everything. It's really neat, and it's underrated. To the point where actually, you know what, it might actually be overrated at this point, since so many people hype this movie up. I love it. I did a whole podcast dedicated to just glazing it nonstop. Go check it out. We're going to now move on to the fourth one, which I think is just mid. In fact, I'm going to just make this quick so this video doesn't go on too long. I'm going to just throw these 4, 5, and 6 just in mid. They're fine. I think that 5 has a pretty cool ending, but for the most part, they're very forgettable. And as it goes on, the mask looks a bit off in a way that's difficult to describe. In H2O and Resurrection, it looks extremely bad. I don't know what they did to that mask, but it's rough, and I'm not a fan. Another hot take coming in. We're putting Rob Zombie's Halloween in really good. So much so I almost want to throw it in best. I think really good is a solid place for it. I actually want to put it ahead of New Nightmare and the original Halloween. I know, sacrilege, but I think this movie improves upon the original in almost every single way imaginable. I think Michael is 10 times scarier. He's so much more physically imposing here. The scene where he kills Danny Trejo is just so heartbreaking. When he talks about how, you know, like he's killing Danny Trejo, and Danny Trejo's like, I was always nice to you, Michael. Why? That right there establishes it, like, this is one evil fucking kid. And I guess he's a man at that point. But still, even when he was a kid, I get that like people don't like that angle of, well, we're going to show him as a child and show his upbringing. I think it works in a weird way. And for me, it's kind of rough at first. You get that sort of white trash vibe with everything, with the constant swearing. But what makes it all work is the scene where Love Hurts by Nazareth starts playing. And you just get young Michael Myers sitting on the curb while you see his mom stripping and you see his dad getting drunk and wasted. And it's like, this kid's life just sucks. You almost see this moment in his brain where it's like he just snaps. You know what I mean? What a scene. I think that's one of the best scenes in any Halloween movie. It just stands out to me years after the fact. When I watched it as a kid, should not have been watching this movie as a kid, by the way. I was way too young. But that just stuck out to me. And it just like was like burned into my brain. And whenever I hear that song, Love Hurts, I just think about this Halloween movie. But yeah, wonderful kills. You could say it treads on the original a bit too much, but I don't really mind that because it's a remake. That's the point, kind of, you know? But Halloween 2 is awful. We're putting that in unwatchable trash. It's really bad. I mean, it's atrocious. I remember watching this and being so let down because I loved the first one so much. And then when this came out, it was like, what is with the horse and his mom? And it was just weird. It was like, I get that this was sort of like Rob Zombie doing like a one for them, one for me kind of thing, where he just made the weirdest sequel ever. It's garbage. I hate it. Halloween, this is the remake, which I hate the name. I almost want to put it in mid just for the title, Halloween. It's like, call it something else. There's already Halloween, and now Halloween. You know, like just, I don't know. Call it like Halloween Beginning, you know, or something. There's something. It's a sequel. Like, it's not a remake. I don't get it. But, yeah, it's pretty cool. I like the scene in the asylum. I think that's probably the best moment where the guy's, like, interviewing Michael Myers, and he's, like, unmasked, and you can, like, barely make out his face. That's pretty neat. That's a really awesome scene. But the rest, yeah, I don't know. Jamie Lee Curtis is pretty good in this. And then I'm going to throw Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends in mid. They're fine. I don't know. They're just very forgettable. Ends is pretty bad, actually, now that I think about it, because the whole time they hype up that whole battle between Laurie and Michael, and it's just sort of whatever. And then also, Ends isn't even really about Michael Myers. Like, there's sort of like this other guy who's involved because some kid dies while he's babysitting, and it's just really bizarre. It's very unstructured. Not a fan. That one's pretty bad. But Kills is fine. The best part about it is the fact that Ghost has a song that plays in the end credits, and I love Ghost. So, yeah, it's mid. All right, Evil Dead. One of my most controversial reviews before my channel really blew up was a video I did on the Evil Dead where I basically said that the first half was boring, and I still stand by that. I think that the setup of them going to the cabin in the woods up until when they actually read the Necronomicon is mind-numbingly boring, and it comes off as student filmy, where it's just sort of people like wandering around in this cabin in the woods. I couldn't stand it. It just felt so like amateur. And I get it. It is amateur. This is like a first-time filmmaker's movie, but still. The rest of the movie is fucking good. It's really great. Almost redeems itself a little bit. I say that like I don't love this movie. I love this movie. It's fantastic. I love how grimy it is. But Evil Dead 2 just improves upon it in every way imaginable. So much so, I'm actually going to move it here. I'm going to put Halloween 3 above the first Nightmare on Elm Street. Evil Dead 2 is a masterclass. It's a masterpiece. It actually remakes the first movie in the first sort of moments to like get you up to speed. This is where Bruce Campbell truly becomes Ash as we know him, with the chainsaw hand. The special effects in here are wonderful. I love the stop motion in the first movie because they're so rough and archaic, but in the second one, it's just a whole new level. Also, that poster is just wicked. Reminds me of Return of the Living Dead. It's great stuff. All right, Army of Darkness. I'm putting this in best. It's not really a good horror movie. It's more just like adventure, fantasy. The only reason I think it's even in this list is just because it's part of the Evil Dead franchise. Like, my dad hates horror movies, but him and I watched this one time. It was just on cable, and he loved it, and he hates horror movies, but like he likes fantasy stuff, he likes Lord of the Rings, he likes comedies, and so this sort of hits that right spot. And yeah, it's an amazing medieval movie. I love the jokes in here. Obviously, there's the best part where he's like, this is my boomstick. That's a great moment. I love that. The Deadites are pretty cool in this. The best, though, in the entire thing, I just fucking love the stop motion skeletons, and like whenever they die they get like thrown into a million pieces, like their bones just like explode. I love Evil Ash. I love the scene with all the mini Ashes where they're like attacking him in this like Looney Tunes style thing. It's so great. I love the part where he forgets, you know what, fuck it, dude, this is better than Evil Dead 2. I'm sorry, that's my hot take. The more I think about this movie, the more I'm like, damn, this is so good. I love the bit where he goes up to recite the words and he forgets them. So he's just like, Latu, and he's like, it's great character acting. I love Bruce Campbell. I think he's the best in this one right here. Now we've got Evil Dead, the remake. It's good. It gets hated on too much. I don't like the poster at all. Yeah, this is a gory movie. If you want gore, watch this one. I'm going to put it ahead of Halloween 2, though. Yeah, and I'm actually going to put Evil Dead above... Yeah, that's a hot take. That's going to piss some people off, but we'll put it below the Rob Zombie one. Anyways, yeah, Evil Dead, it's really good. I love the gore. I think the premise of our friend is recovering from a heroin addiction, so we're going to take her out to the cabin in the woods to cold turkey it. That's a great setup for horror because withdrawals are horrifying. So it right there, it's like you have a great setup. Also, one of the best cold opens to any movie ever. Terrifying. Evil Dead Rise. This is the only one in the entire group, if I'm looking at this correctly. Yeah, only one in this entire group that I actually saw in theaters, and it's going in good. I think I'm going to put it ahead of the remake, though, mainly for spoilers. The monster at the end, where it's all of the like the people that have died like combined into this like Lovecraftian monster, and then it gets thrown into a wood chipper. It's phenomenal stuff. I dig it so much. I was shocked at who dies in this movie. I'm not going to ruin it, but like there are points where you're kind of thinking like, okay, this is a horror movie, so I'm sure this character is going to live, and then oh no, they're dead. That's terrifying. Like it really isn't scared to like piss you off in a way as a viewer. Great stuff. I really like this movie. I think it deserves a lot more hype. It's really good. All right, now we've got the Friday the 13th movies. As a kid, I love these. Again, I probably shouldn't have been watching them, but who cares? So we've got the first one. It's good. The one problem that I have with this is one that I think a lot of people have with it, and it's that Jason isn't the killer at the end. It's his mom, which I'm sure for people at the time wasn't a big deal. It's kind of like the inverse of Psycho in a way, but I don't know. I remember watching this as a kid and just being so disappointed, thinking like, all right, I want to see Jason, and you don't even get him until really part 3, because in part 2 he just has like a bag over his head. But yeah, it's neat. I dig the ending where little Jason comes out of the lake and grabs the final girl. I think that's pretty cool, even though it's just a dream. Whatever. Part 2, I think I'm going to throw in mid. The kills are pretty neat. The funniest one that sticks out to me in this very moment is the wheelchair kid who like gets hit in the head and then he like rolls backwards and then like falls off the porch. Like that's great stuff. I think the opening kill is also pretty memorable too. Yeah, it's fine though. Like beyond that, it's just sort of your typical slasher movie, but you don't really get Jason just yet. Now, Friday the 13th Part 3, you do get Jason, I will say that, but this isn't all that good. My issue with this is just that it's the same thing with Freddy's Dead, where it's 3D bullshit, so you're getting like ping pong balls like hitting the camera, and it's just annoying after a while, because you're likely not watching this in 3D, so for the most part, it's just obnoxious, like, hey, look at this, look at this, look at this. But I don't know, at least we get the hockey mask here. That's what I would say makes it watchable, and some of the kills are pretty decent. The final chapter is pretty cool. I'm going to put this in good. I think good is a solid spot, because you finally get Jason more established. There's a little bit less of that whole gimmick shit, and it's just sort of a typical slasher movie. All right, Friday the 13th Part 5 I hate, because it's not Jason. It's the dad of the, I guess intellectually disabled kid is what you could call him, the one that loves eating chocolate. It's a copycat killer movie, which could be a unique twist, but the acting here is just so bad, especially that kid that likes the chocolate. Just, he pissed me off so much. It was so annoying. Jason Lives is S tier. This is probably my favorite slasher movie of all time. I'm going to actually put it there. Above Evil Dead 2, I know, holy hot takes with this video. This is the most cursed tier list ever, and I expect to see hate comments. This is so fun. I love the kills in this. It's so over the top. I think Tommy Jarvis is great in this movie because he's not really a kid anymore like he was in, I believe it was part 5 where he was being a kid, and it was, was it Corey Feldman? I think? I don't know. But, yeah. Part 6 is really good. I love the opening where they're in the graveyard and they got to dig Jason's grave up, and then they stab him through the chest, but it's with a metal rod, so then lightning strikes it, he's revived, and now he's like a zombie. It's so cool. The soundtrack is great. You get some Alice Cooper. It's all around good fun. This is another one that I watch every Halloween. In fact, I'm going to put Halloween 3. This is going to piss off so many Evil Dead 2 fans, but I'm going to put Halloween 3 above Evil Dead 2. Wait, which one has Corey Feldman in it? I'm like having a moment right now. No, this is the one where it's like Jason versus Carrie. That's right. Yeah, I don't know. It's mid. The ending is just really lame, where it's just like Jason getting just crushed by like a cabin, and it's lame. I don't know what else to say. It's not that good. I've been recording this video for way too long. Yeah, it's fine. I don't know. It's not bad. This is bad. Jason Goes to Manhattan is bad. In fact, I almost want to throw it here in unwatchable trash because it's really rough. Look, this movie's been dissected by so many people, but I'm still upset by this. You'd think that, and the reason why I'm upset is because for my birthday, my 13th birthday, this was a birthday present that I got. I'd never seen the movie, and so I was like so excited because, you know, Jason Takes Manhattan. It's like, oh my God, the kill count's going to be crazy. It's going to be like nuts. He's going to be chopping up people left and right. And then you watch it, and it's the most disappointing piece of shit ever. Yeah. The part where Jason's face gets like melted looks really bad. It just, the effects are such a huge drop off. The effects in part 7 are really solid, though. I will say that. But yeah, no, the effects in Jason Takes Manhattan are just terrible. Jason Goes to Hell, again, hot take. I think it's really good. It's so refreshing for a Friday the 13th movie because it's not just Jason going around killing people. First off, the design of Jason at the start is so grotesque. I love how tiny the mask looks. Like, this looks like a corpse that has been just obliterated. And he gets obliterated later on. But the whole time you're just like, oh my, someone put this thing out of its misery. It's so grotesque looking. It's so nasty. But I love the almost like bait and switch where it starts out like your typical Friday the 13th movie. Almost like the end of a movie that we're just sort of starting on, where it's a final girl almost getting killed by Jason, and then Jason gets shot to shit by military, and then it turns out that there's like a slug inside Jason, and it like possesses other people. I'm sure that pissed some people off. I think it's a unique take. I love the body horror element. It's pretty neat.
That's pretty neat.
Jason X. I almost want to throw it here, but because it's one of those so bad it's good, I'm gonna put it in bad but watchable because it is so bad it's good. I almost want to put New Beginning just a little bit, like here, because I'm going to put that, because these are fine. I mean, like, they're not, like, they're bad, but they're not as bad as Jason X. But Jason X is just so bad it's good that it has to be up here. Otherwise, it would for sure be down here. I mean, it's Jason in space. Like, what else do you have to say? It's insane. The liquid nitrogen kill is wonderful. Friday the 13th, the remake, it's supposed to be a remake of, like, the first 3 movies. I don't care. I think this is so goddamn lame. I hate how Jason is like making traps for people and he's like setting stuff up and like no. I don't want him running. I don't want him like running up to people and stabbing them and, you know, chopping them up because they're caught in a trap. Like, I think the basic setup of who Jason Voorhees is in the established movies is fine. I don't see why they had to try and change it up. I get that it's a remake, but still, I don't like it. I'm actually going to switch these around here. I'm going to put that one there and this one there. And last one, Freddy versus Jason. I'm going to throw in really good. I like this movie a lot. It is a bit weird how it's kind of not really a Nightmare on Elm Street movie or a Friday the 13th movie. There's some really bizarre kills, like when Jason takes that guy and like just snaps his neck, but his head turns all the way around. You also get some bizarre moments where like Freddy's nightmare rules don't really work. Like, I remember distinctly he takes his claws and like puts them through a woman's nose and pops them out and they're like bleeding. And in prior movies, she'd wake up and her nose would be bleeding like crazy like that, but she wakes up and she's fine. And it's like, that's not how the movies work. But yeah, I don't know. It's pretty neat. I love the battle at the end. I think that's what everyone kind of loves about this. It's all around good fun. It's a great final performance from Robert Englund. I think the ending's great too, where Jason is carrying Freddy's head and then he kind of like winks at the camera. It's great stuff. And that is my horror movie tier list. I know this is just sort of horror movie franchises. I don't know, but I would love to know your thoughts down below in the comments. I'm sure a lot of my picks are ones that are pretty hot takes. So let me know your thoughts on some of these, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of discourse surrounding my love for Rob Zombie's Halloween and my distaste for some of the later Halloween movies. As always, I'm Cole McCormick. You're watching Firewood Media. If you're new to the channel, hello, hi, welcome. I'm putting out a bunch of content throughout the month of October. Vlogs, in-depth movie retrospectives, tier lists, video game stuff, the whole 9 yards. It's crazy. We're going to end the month with an original short film that I'm working on right now. It's going to go nuts. So consider becoming a member or just subscribe, whatever you want to do. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.